You know our first guest from the classic movies, Police Academy, Cocoon, and one of my personal favorites, 3 Men and a Baby. Now this funny actor is getting serious, talking about how he put his career on hold to become his father's caregiver in his new book, Time to Thank, Caregiving for My Heroes. We want to welcome Steve Guttenberg to the show. So great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's just so wonderful. I grew up on Long Island, and I know your show, and I know News 12. So thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's so great to see you. And I do really want to get into the book, but first I just have to ask you, for Police Academy being like such an iconic movie, did you have any idea at the time that you were making that what you were part of?
Well, I actually have a pretty good nose for stuff that works. And usually probably a good nose for stuff that doesn't work. But sometimes you do things because you have to get the job going, you have to work. So Police Academy, actually, I really did think that it was going to be something that I didn't know how much money it was going to make. I didn't know that it was going to be such a iconic movie, but I did think that it was a cross between Stripes, An Officer and a Gentleman. And I thought that there was something really cool in that combo.
Yeah, and then you just became this household name.
Well, I left Massapequa when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And my parents gave me 2 weeks to become a movie star. And if it didn't work, I go to Albany State.
Oh!
And, right. So within 2 weeks, I did get a commercial, a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial.
Do you still remember what you said? What did you say in the commercial?
Nothing. I was literally, good morning, I was an extra sitting next to the Colonel, whose name is Harlan. So I was sitting next to him in a football stand, cheering and yay, yay, yay. And I got my SAG card out of that commercial.
Gosh. And you're 17 and your parents just said, okay, this is your dream, you got 2 weeks?
Yeah, what's amazing is who would let their kid come to Hollywood now,
right.
At 17. But, in those days, you really didn't hear about the weirdos. You didn't hear about the trouble. And all you knew really was the craft and the opportunity. And I was studying as an actor, and the opportunity was I could go out there and try my hand at it. And still, so I look at it, I guess it's 47 years. So I think about that, about how lucky I am that wherever I go, some people know who I am, and my family gets treated specially, and I get, all kinds of perks, and I get to do my job, and I get to act, and I get to tell stories, and I get to do sometimes movies that work, like Police Academy or 3 Men and a Baby or Short Circuit, and they go all over the world. So if I go to Peru, if I go to Guam, if I go to Japan, if I go to Moscow, people know who I am. So, and I'm a guy from Sunrise Highway, Montauk, and Montauk Highway, and I'm from Merrick Road and Boundary Avenue and Hicksville Road.
Yes.
So I'm very, very lucky. And the greatest part of being, I'm sure as you know, the greatest part of being well known is sharing it with those you love. And I'm sure you see that too with your kids and your husband and your family.
Absolutely. And I have to say, you see it a bit on your Instagram, so you feel like, I wonder, but even just having this conversation with you, someone walks by and you're saying hi, and you just seem to really have this gratitude and this, I want to say, grounded sense to you that, a lot of people in your position might be guarded or, closed off, but you're just so open. How do you manage that?
The first thing is I've got great parents. My mom and dad, I grew up at their kitchen table. And I really do believe everything you need to know in this world, you can learn at the kitchen table. Manners, conversation, humor, caring, commitment, exuberance, enlightenment. You can learn those things, and mostly empathy, caring, loving, love. Love is the most important power on earth. So I learned that all in Brooklyn, at Borough Park, Brooklyn, in Flushing, Queens, on Franklin Avenue, and on Wyoming Avenue in Massapequa. So, it's very, very important to be a good person. That's the key. Be a good person. Say hello. Say good morning. You're in this community. You're in society. And too many people today, especially today, are closed off. I can walk down the street, one person's coming toward me, and they can just walk by me without saying hello. It's a strange world this way. So I really believe, put it out there. I'm sure maybe you feel the same way.
I do. I love to say hi to everybody. And you meet so many amazing people that way that are like just, surprising and wonderful and have something they want to share with you. But I know that the two of us have something else in common, and that's the way that we care for our parents. And I know, this book it seems to be, born from that time of taking those road trips. Can you share with us what you've gone through with your dad?
Well, I wrote this book, Time to Thank, and it's Caregiving for My Hero. It's about my dad. My dad got kidney failure and kidney disease, and that's really rough. And there are 53 million caregivers in this world. And I wrote this book, Time to Thank, to make a difference. And, I got to tell you, I'm a Long Island guy, and I know you've got millions of people watching in Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island. And I say to everybody, take a look at my book. Go to Amazon, take a look at the reviews, take a look at what it's about. And it's about family, it's about caring, it's about love. And I was taking this trip for 400 miles once a week on a Monday, and driving 400 miles back on a Thursday, because I wanted to help my family take care of my father. I was in LA and he was in Phoenix. And it was not hard at all. My father had a great saying that he took a little bit, he said, from Joel Osteen. He said, don't walk a mile for someone who won't cross the street for you, but walk 10,000 miles in a hurricane for 1 minute with someone you love. And I drove 10,000 miles through a hurricane for 1 minute with my father. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. If you love somebody, you'll do anything. But, so was it a long trip, 400 miles? Not at all. It was like that. But to drive 400 miles for someone I didn't care about, that would be a long trip.
And what about that time in the car? I would think, you would have so much time to think about the moments that you were together.
Yeah, I had so much time to think about when my dad was young and vital. And in the backyard in Massapequa, he would do handstands. For 25 minutes, he would do a handstand. And then he would help me put on my pajamas and taught me how to shave, taught me how to ride a bike, drove me places. And then I would take the drive and I would stop at all these deserted towns. And these deserted towns were so vital at one time. They still had plates on the diners' tables and counters, and still there were waitress uniforms there and drapes blowing through the window. And they reminded me of my dad when he got ill, because he was vital and strong. And now he needs help, and he's sort of in a weakened position, just like these empty towns. And then the third part of the book is caring for my dad, helping my dad do dialysis. And actually, my sister Susan and I went to a medical facility, ASU, and we learned to become medical technicians, med techs ourselves. And we would do dialysis on my dad at home.
Wow.
So it was pretty terrific.
Yeah.
And it's as you know, or a lot of people out there know, who are caring. Long Island people really care about their family. And so many people have elders and children that are not well. And you sit in that room for 12 hours a day, anticipating their every need, because you're there to love them, to care about them, to make their life easier while they're not well.
And it's so great, because I really do believe love is the action.
Love is, you can love, my dad had a great one. You can love someone, or you can love someone and show up. You have to show up. My dad would always say, you have a friend of yours you love? You don't want to go to his party? Go there for 10 minutes. Just go there. You don't have to be interesting. You don't have to be funny. You just have to show up. And that's 85% of life, just showing up.
And thank you for showing up today, because I know you were on your way to a yoga class because of a time snafu. So I really do appreciate your time.
I appreciate
love your message. I'm so glad that we got to share it with all of everybody in our viewing audience, all 7 of the News 12 regions. Time to Thank is available now where books are sold. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Massapequa.